Hi Yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Well, today is Scrap Happy Monday and I want you to meet BJ, the Scrappy Halloween cat. I just love this Scrappy project, and like I said, this is BJ. Can you guess what BJ stands for? Maybe Beetle Juice? Maybe not. I didn't know what to name him, and my husband actually named him BJ. Now, he is a boy cat. You can make a girl. And what we did is we just grabbed all of different colors of Halloween medium weight number 4 yarns, held them together to make our cat and tail. I used some felt for the eyes, and I'll explain all of that as we go along. Nice little nose and whiskers, and then, of course, a fancy bow tie. If you make yours as a girl, you can always put the bow tie up by the ear or something like that. But I am just super excited the way this pattern turned out for our Scrap Happy Monday. It's just so much fun. It makes me giggle. So anyway, this is BJ, the Scrap Happy Cat, or BJ the Scrappy Cat. And of course, you can find the complete pattern on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. He's so cute. All right, let's get started on our BJ, the Scrappy Cat pillow. So this is all the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need some stuffing, probably about, I don't even know if 16 ounces. It's kind of up to you how tightly you want to stuff your cat pillow. All right, I've got some black ribbon here with white polka dots for the bows. This is my safety eyes that I picked out. These are 24 millimeter safety eyes, and they look like this. The back is a metal, and I wanted the eye to stand out just a little bit more because I am using lots of different colors of bright yarns that are going to be hard to see those eyes. So we're taking pieces of felt, and you cut a 1-inch by 2-inch piece, and then we cut it so that it looks like the cat eye. We make a hole in the middle, and then we put the eye in. All right, and that will help it stand out and look more like a cat eye. Now, I am using the felt that has the sticky back on it. It looks like this, 99 cents. I think sometimes they're $1.29 depending on where you buy them. I picked this one up at Hobby Lobby. It's felt with a sticky back. It just has the piece that you peel off, and it's sticky. And I like using this because this way this won't stick off. It'll stick to it. All right. And of course, I'll show you how to do all of that as we go. All right. We're going to be stitching today with our 9 millimeter. And mine is an N hook. Sometimes you can find an M that's a 9 millimeter. Just make sure it's a 9 millimeter crochet hook, needle, and scissors. Now, for the yarn, you're going to need about 12 ounces of medium weight number 4 yarns. And what I've done here is I've gotten in my yarn stash and I've pulled out a bunch of Halloween colors, and I rolled them up in what I call my crazy yarn balls. That way I have what I need when I'm ready. And on this one, I particularly chose purples, blacks, oranges, and whites. This is purple and white here, and this one is like a variegated. So some of them are variegated as well. Just whatever I had in my yarn stash, all of them were medium weight number 4 acrylic yarns. And that's important because you want to stick to one fiber when we make these crazy balls. You can do them on different fibers, just keep them all the same on your crazy balls. You could make this in cotton, wool, whatever you have. Just make sure the entire thing is made with the same fiber. All right, we're going to be making the cat body and the tail all using 2 strands held together. And like this one is done up in a crazy ball, this is a ball, and this is a skein. And I'll hold that together at times like this. Okay? But we're using medium weight number 4 yarn, held 2 strands held together, and you're going to need approximately 12 ounces. Depending on how tightly you stitch, you may need more or you may need less, but that's an approximate amount to make the cat and the tail. All right? All right, so I've got my ball of yarn here that I'm working with. I've got my 2 strands of yarn. We're going to start with our slip knot. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to join this into a circle and make that stay knot. Now again, you can use another method to make your beginning circle if you choose. Go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Some more yarn out here. When you're working with 2 strands, it's good to kind of pull along here sometimes. We don't want the one strand to be drooping or knotting up or, just messing around so it doesn't work right. All right, so now in this circle, we're going to stitch 11 double crochets. Now our chain 3 counts as 1, and we're stitching 11 more, so we'll have 12 double crochets in this chain 5 loop. And it is going to be a tight fit, so we got to get them all in there. And if you've not stitched with 2 strands very often, it can be a little challenging at first, especially using a large crochet hook. So just take your time. Enjoy the process, as I say. As it's well worth the effort, because this is just adorable when it's all stitched up. Oops, I grabbed that tail. Let's get that down there. We are stitching over that tail of yarn, but we don't want to grab it. All right, I lost count, so let's see where I'm at. Here's my chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 double crochets. And remember to count that chain 3 as your first double crochet. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, so now we're going to turn this over. We're going to gently pull on that string. We'll grab our needle and go ahead and weave this in. You can wait till the end to do this if you want to. I just like getting it over with, and then I don't have to worry about it. We want to make sure that this hole is closed securely, because we don't want the bottom of our cat to open up, because we are making the bottom and working our way up to the top where we'll put the ears are, or on, I should say. Stitch the ears on. So give it another good hard tug and go back the other direction. You just go back and forth. There we go. And we'll go ahead and clip that. So we finished row 1. We have 12 double crochets, counting that chain 3. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. And again, we're working from the bottom, working our way up the cat. Now we're ready for row 2. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. So we had 12 for row 1, so row 2 will have 24 double crochets. Two double crochets in each of the double crochets, working all the way around. And this is going to give us a nice flat bottom on our cat pillow so it can sit nicely. 2 double crochets in each of our double crochets around and join back to our chain 3. We stitched 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3 and then 2 in each around, so we have 24 double crochets. We're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And again, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Now we're not going to stitch in the same stitch as our chain 3 this time. We're going to go to our next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Alrighty, and so what we're going to do for row 3 is 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in the next. I call this doing 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next, 2 in the next, all the way around. 1 and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. And that's why we didn't stitch another stitch in our chain 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 3. We stitched 1 and 2, alternating all the way around. I joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. All right. Now I know this particular section we're using a little bit darker yarn, so you'll see it on this part here where it's a little bit lighter, okay? Now on row 3 we have 36 double crochets. On row 4 we're going to do something similar. We've chained 3. We're going to double crochet in the next stitch. And then 2 double crochets in the next. All right, and so what our repeat is for row 4 is 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. So we're doing 2 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next 2, 2 in the next. And that's our repeat for row 4. And we'll do this all the way around. Let me finish my 2 here. 1 and 2. There we go. We'll repeat this, working all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 4. We stitched 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 1 in the next, all the way around, so we have 48 double crochets. Now we're done increasing. All right, and so we joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to be stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, but we're going to be stitching in the back loops only. All right, so 1 double crochet, stitching in the back loop only. If you don't know how to do that, if you look on the top here, you'll see there are loops on the front and loops on the back. Let me show you in this color, make it a little easier. These loops here are your front loops. These are your back loops. And we're going to be stitching in the back loops only. And make sure when you have 2 strands that you go through both of those strands, or you'll end up with it looking a little bit loose, okay? And you'll know that you're doing it correctly if you see this line right here of stitches that we didn't stitch in. See right here? All right, so we're not increasing. We're stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, stitching in the back loop only. And again, make sure you get through both of those loops. Because we're using 2 strands, we have 2 pieces of yarn there. And you want to make sure when you stitch through that back loop that you go through both of those strands. All right, 1 double crochet in each stitch around, working in the back loops only. Then we'll join back to our chain 3 and chain 3. I have completed row 5, and you can see that line going all the way around. And this is the outside. And this is going to sit like this, and that's going to help that cat pillow sit nicely. Okay? We've joined to our chain 3 and chain 3, and we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around. We're not stitching through the back loops only anymore, only on that 1 row. And now we're going to start forming the sides of our cat pillow. All right, so 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. No more back loop only. One double crochet in each double crochet all the way around, and we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 6. 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets around, joined to the chain 3 and chained 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat row 6 for 11 more rows, and that's going to be the sides, the body of our cat. All right, so we're repeating row 6, which is just 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join to the chain 3 and chain 3. And so we're repeating row 6 for 11 more rows. I added those additional 11 rows. That brings us up to row 17. And you can see here's the bottom, nice and flat. And then here is our cat body. Looks like a bag, doesn't it? Well, at this point, we need to decide which is the front and which is the back. And I like to take the side where I have my chain, where we've been joining, and putting it on the side, because we need to add the eyes and then stuff it, and then we'll stitch the ears as we close it. All right, so let me grab what I've got here for eyes. These are the safety eyes that I chose. They are 24 millimeter wiggly eyes. I bought these at Hobby Lobby for $1.29. All right, and these are the backs. Now, before I add just the eye, I want to show you, if you add just the eye, it's very cute, but it kind of gets lost in all the busyness of the yarn. And so I decided to make these felt ovals. All right, and the way you do that is you cut a rectangle that is 2 inches by 1 inch. Okay, and then the first thing you do is you fold it over with your scissors and just cut a little slit right there. That way it can be slid onto the safety eye. There we go. And we do want that to be a little bit tight. All right, then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it over, and we're going to cut so that it has the cat eyes. And we'll just kind of cut it like this. You want it to have an oval, okay? It's not really an oval. Let me put it over here so you can see it. It's not really an oval, like this one's not pointed enough, so I'm going to cut that one. It's just pointed on both sides, just to give it that, there we go, cat eye look. All right, now what I'm going to do is you want to place your eye approximately about row 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So about right in here in the center. And it's up to you how close together you want to put your eyes. I'm going to put this on here. It's so funny. I think I kind of like them right on this line between the color change. All right. Now these eyes will look different where you put them. So what we're going to do is, this is a sticky felt, so I'm going to pull this sticky off. And I'm going to put it right in that stitch. Then I'm going to grab the back of the eye. I want to make sure this is where we want it. And I kind of like that. So we're going to go back here and push that on. Nice and snug. All right. And then I push on this. That will help. Now you don't have to use the sticky felt. If you have some regular felt or even just a piece of fabric, it's totally fine. I just like using it. I think it makes it putting on the eye just a little bit easier. That looks about even. All right. And we'll grab that back. And usually with the safety eye, you feel that snap. With these, it's not quite the same. All right. And then we'll push that felt down. So now the eyes are attached. Next, we're going to stuff it. Now, the amount of stuffing you put in it is up to you, but I want to make sure I have enough down in the bottom around that circle so my cat is going to stay up. All right. And so I've got more stuffing here. I want it squishable, but I also want it to stand. All right, got a little bit more here. All right, I think that's enough. It's nice and squishable, and I've got a nice good amount in the bottom. One thing you can do if you want this to stand up and have weight in the bottom, you can pick up some of those beads and put them in a little cloth bag. Some of them come in a cloth bag. They're just called weighted beads. And put those in the bottom before you stuff it. Some people like to just do a zip bag full of beans, like your dried beans. Or even some of those little glass marbles that you put, in vases. They do those as well. There's lots of options. Even if you have a big old bag of leftover beads, you can do that as well. It's up to you if you want some weight down there. I don't. I just want mine to be stuffed. Nice and tight. It looks more like a monster. So we have the eyes on and it's nice and stuffed. We're going to do the top. And as we're closing the top, we're going to be making the ears. All right, so we're going to flatten this across. So I'm going to push that stuffing down. We're going to flatten this across. We have a chain 3 here. And we're going to double crochet in the next, let me check my notes here, in the next 4 stitches. All right, so there's that one. And we're going to double crochet and we're going to stitch the front and back together. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, next we're going to stitch 4 half double crochets. One, 2, 3, 'Gotta get both my strands. All right, and that's going to form a nice pointed ear. Now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet across until we only have 9 stitches left. All right, and remember we're forming the front and back together, or stitching the front and back together to close up the top of our head. So I single crocheted across until I only have 9 stitches left. All right, and so we're going to half double crochet in the first 4. 1, 2, 3, and this makes 4. And then in these last 5 stitches, we're going to double crochet. That's stuffing out of the way there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now we're going to cut this yarn and we'll tie this off. But before we do that, I want you to see how that forms the 2 pointy ears of our cat. So I have finished the ear. I weave that in, and again we have our eyes attached, and now we're going to make the little nose and the whiskers. So I want my little nose to be in black. Black is really difficult for you to see because the yarn is dark, and so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make it with this yarn. Now you can do it in pink, white, purple, whatever colors that you would like. But I'm doing my nose in black and then my whiskers in black as well. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold your 2 strands together. Make your slip knot and chain 2. 1 and 2. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. 1 and 2. We're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to place 2 single crochets in those 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then 1 and 2. All right, so now we're going to chain 1 and turn and place 1 single crochet in those 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn down the side and stitch evenly to that point. Try to stitch in the stitches, not the holes. My hook back through there. Where'd you go? All right, let me what that got caught on. I'll try again. There we go. And then when we get to the point, move that out of the way there, we'll stitch a single crochet, chain one, and single crochet. And then we'll just single crochet back up and join to that first single crochet. And then we'll cut our yarn. Now what you want to do, you're going to leave a long tail of yarn because we're going to use that to sew our little nose onto our cat. But you may notice you have a few little holes. And what you can do with your other end of your yarn is close those up a little bit. We need to weave it in anyway, right? So we can go to the side here and kind of come across and kind of close up some of those holes. It happens because we're using a thick yarn and a big needle, okay? We would like to try to not have those holes. Okay, and so now I've closed up the, whoops, can't see that up there, can you? So now I've closed up those holes. I can cut this, and now I can sew my little nose onto my cat. So I placed my nose underneath my cat's eyes. I stitched around the edge just using whip stitches in and out, and then I added this little line here in order for it to look like the cat's little cheeks on the side. And now I'm going to add some whiskers. And it's up to you how long you want to make them. I usually put 3 on each side when I do something with a cat. Alrighty, so I want to make a whisker. So I'm going to go next to this, about right here. And I'm going to grab this loop and go in. That's the first whisker. Then I'm going to come over here and meet up so that I have 3 whiskers. All right, now I'm going to go across so that it matches. Let's see, I'm in that second stitch. I'm in the third stitch here. So I'm going to come back 1, just so we keep it even. There we go. That looks a little better. And then we'll just kind of do the same thing. And again, the length of your whiskers is totally up to you. I don't do them real long because I don't want them to get caught on anything. I just want them to be able to be played with, but not get pulled off. And if they get pulled off, it's an easy fix, of course. All right, so there I have my 3 whiskers. Again, I'm going to go over to the side. I like that. It looks pretty cool. And I'll pull this just a little so I can make a knot. And that's going to keep it from coming through that stuffing. And then we'll just hide that inside. All right, so now my cat has its eyes, its nose, and its whiskers. It's super cute, but it's missing its tail. Now we're going to be stitching in the round for the tail, so I do suggest you grab a stitch marker or another piece of yarn to help you keep track of your rows. And it's really simple. We're going to start with our slip knot. We're going to chain 2. We're going to stitch 4 single crochets. 1, 2, and that's 4 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. That tail out of the way there. All right, so now we're not going to join. We're going to mark that last stitch with our stitch marker. And now in those 4 stitches, we're going to stitch 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Didn't want to come through there. 5, 6. That brings us to our last stitch. So we'll grab that stitch marker out and stitch 2 in there. 7 and 8. Now you want to push this out because that's the tail. And before we go any farther, we want to go ahead and weave this in because we're going to be stitching a long tail and it'll be really hard to weave this in at the end. All right, so we'll just take a quick second, weave that in. All right, we'll just give that a clip. All right, that's the inside, so we'll put it back out to the outside, and we need to add our stitch marker. All right, so now we're ready to go. We're going to stitch 1 single crochet in those 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, and so I'll mark that last stitch. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to repeat this up through row 32. 1 single crochet in each of those 8 single crochet stitches. All right, there we go. That out, make our stitch. There we go. Mean to make so much noise. All right, mark our stitch. And so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want to have a total of 32. I have continued to repeat this until I have a total of 32 rows, and that makes a nice long kitty tail. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay it flat. We're going to go in this stitch and the first stitch on this side and stitch a single crochet. There we go, kind of tight. We'll do the same thing. That's 2, 3, and the last one, 4. All righty, and I've already cut my yarn, so we're going to tie that off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to attach this right on that edge underneath our cat so that the tail lays around the front. All right, let's attach BJ's tail. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the back and we're going to kind of offset it. We want it to be able to be seen. And we want this edge to be right under there. So we're going to kind of do it at an angle here. And we're just going to whip stitch it on. Oop. Couple of stitches. I probably could have left a little bit longer of tail of yarn. There we go. Put back on there. Make sure that's going to stay put. There we go. I'm just going to go back through here just to make sure. I don't want his tail to come off. All right, so it's under the edge of his bottom, okay? So when he sits down, it's under the edge, but we want it to come around to the front. So what you can do is just grab another piece of yarn. I've just got a purple piece here because there's purple on here. And we'll just do a little stay stitch. Okay, I want it to kind of be loose. I don't want it to be tight. And then I'm just going to go right here and make a little stay stitch. And that'll help keep his tail in the right place. All right, then we can just take our hook and pull that inside so it's not sticking out. All right, oop, stuffing. All right, so now you can see his tail. And my BJ is a boy cat. Yours can be a girl. And the last thing that we're going to do is add a bow if you want to. So we've got the tail attached. It looks like it's just sitting there flipped around in front of him. And the last thing we want to do is add a bow. And so I've got this pretty polka dot. If it's a girl cat, you can always put it up here, but mine is a guy. He's a boy cat. And so we're going to put the bow, and I'm just going to stick it right through some stitches here without grabbing stuffing. All right. There we go. And I'm just going to make a nice bow. Now this is polka dot gabardine. I think this is what this is called or something like that. But I wanted it to kind of go with my theme here. But I didn't want it to be too Halloween-y with pumpkins and stuff. But of course you can. Okay, and that's the bow. And then I'm just going to turn this over so you can see the polka dots. There's that end. And then we'll fold this end. And there we go. BJ is all ready to hit the town and go trick or treating, or just sit on your couch and enjoy a nice Halloween scary movie. Isn't that just adorable? I absolutely love it. I love how the eyes turned out, the whiskers, the nose, the bow, the tail, everything about BJ. I just love it. Too cute. Too cute.